Alright, so I gotta admit that when The Witcher's Netflix series was announced, I was really skeptical, you know? I had played the Witcher games, I had read the Witcher books. Well, I only read them because I played Witcher 3, you know, and Witcher 3 was a great game, you know? But I was skeptical about the series, you know? I didn't know what it would be based on, and I didn't know if the writers could actually, make it work. And I just finished the first episode, and I gotta say, it's pretty good. I liked it, I really did. However, there are a couple of things that I did not like, and I think that if these problems aren't fixed, then the remaining episodes might not be that good. But for the first episode, good job, honestly. Like, I'm impressed at how good the first episode was. Like, from the beginning to the end, like I had fun, honestly. Like, it was an awesome episode. Um, and the first thing I notice now is that there are 8 episodes, obviously, and that the short story collections will be covered. So obviously the Witcher books, there are like 7 Witcher books, I think. Yeah, and there are 2 short story collections, 5 novels, and then a prequel. And the Witcher series that we have now on Netflix covers the first short story collection, so 1 and 2. And I think that is actually a pretty good margin. Is margin the correct word? I don't know. Because it's not too much, but it is enough, you know. And I think they will have, a lot to do to actually, manage to cover the 2 books in a satisfying way. And honestly, Henry Cavill, right? Like, he did a fantastic job. Honestly, I really dig him as The Witcher. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I can only say go out and watch the series. It's pretty good, but I just want to also mention some of the stuff that I didn't like. And it's been a while since I read the book, honestly. So it's been at least like 2 years since I read the books. But again, like, the Witcher books are probably one of my favorite pieces of fiction ever. And I have high expectations for the show. So the first thing is that there are a couple of differences to the books, which is fine, obviously that will be. And the differences weren't really noticeable or bothersome. Like, the first thing you notice is that Ciri, is introduced in the first series, in the first episode, which of course makes sense, she'll be a major character. In the books, I think she was introduced in the second book, I think. So she plays a major role, and it's about her, escaping the kingdom of Nilfgaard. Not the kingdom of Nilfgaard. Yes, she escapes the kingdom of Nilfgaard. In the books, obviously, she just meets Geralt in the forest. I don't know, like, you spend so much time with Ciri, and get a lot of her backstory, and I think it's fine. It's like a series adaptation thing. Okay, that's not really a problem. But there is one critic point that I have, and that I noticed in like the first 50 minutes of the show. For people that don't know the Witcher games and don't know the Witcher books, this series is complicated. Like, honestly, like, I don't think that I would have a single fucking clue of what is going on if I didn't read the books. Like, honestly, like, it starts when the mage in the tower in Blaviken starts talking about these prophecies, and that that girls are born under this black sun, and they are they have mutations and stuff like that. Honestly speaking, if I didn't read about it in the books before, and I heard it before, obviously, I would be confused, like, really, really confused. Now, obviously, you probably heard about The Witcher, so that's not the issue, but all the other stuff, especially about Nilfgaard and, Cyrilla and mages and stuff like that, it's kind of confusing, honestly. But I guess it should be fine. Like, I hope at least, that also people that are not into Witcher, can enjoy the show. And I also, one thing that I really liked about the show is that they actually, put a lot of emphasis on the moral of the story, and on the character of Geralt, which is basically the reason why the author of the Witcher books actually made this scene, right? So, for example, The Witcher has this mentality of not choosing a side, and if you have to choose between a greater evil and a lesser evil, The Witcher chooses nothing, right? But in the same note, though, I think that the books portrayed it a bit better. Now, again, like, I love the first episode. It was great, but in the books, the moral choice came across a bit more, I don't know, distinct, because in the books it was it was a bit different in the books. This girl, Fenrir, I think, is her name Fenrir? I just saw the fucking episode and I forgot already. I don't know. That's my issue. Fenrir basically wants to kill the mage, right? And the mage says, yeah, fuck that, I'll stay in my tower. You can't touch me in my tower. And the mage orders Geralt to kill Fenrir. And Geralt says, nah, man, I'm not gonna kill Fenrir. Just like in the first episode. And the girl then says, yo, kill the mage, and then, the mage is an asshole. And he is. But Geralt then says, no, if I have to choose between a greater evil and a lesser evil, I'm not gonna choose. And that is kind of where the series stops it. And then it's a bit, murky why at the end Geralt actually has to kill, the followers of the girl. But in the books, it's explained a bit better because in the books, Geralt says, just as like in the first episode, just go home, leave Blaviken, say, don't get revenge, just forget it and, live an actual decent life, But then the girl actually says, well, if you're not gonna kill the mage, we are gonna kill all the people, or we're gonna threaten to kill all the people in Blaviken, or in the town, until the mage comes out. And the girl then, goes to the mage tower, or sends like a notice or something, and says, mage, if you don't leave the tower, we're gonna kill the entire town. Now, obviously, Geralt knows that the mage won't leave the tower, because, he's an ass, right? And then Geralt suddenly realizes that he does have to make a choice, because if he doesn't choose, he can either kill the girl or kill the mage, But he realizes that if he doesn't do either, the girl will kill the entire town of innocents, sort of innocents, because Geralt knows the mage won't come out. And then Geralt goes to the girl and kills all of them in an awesome scene in the books, honestly. And it was a very powerful moment. Obviously, he does the same thing in the first episode, but I gotta say, it wasn't as... Like, maybe I'm just not... Maybe I didn't understand it as well, but it could have been shown a bit better of why Geralt now had to kill them all, because... I don't know, like, they never said, it's an ultimatum for the mage, and Geralt knew that the mage would not come out. That could have been a bit better, but, if you read the books, you understand why he had to do the stuff he had to do. But if you didn't, it might have been a bit confusing, I think. So that could have used some improvement, I think. And the last thing I want to say, is that, I don't know, man, I'm excited. I want to continue watching, but at the same time, it's kind of a lot of stuff, honestly. But, I'm excited. I hope the show does well. I hope it, performs, I'm gonna watch the second episode now, and yeah, see you in the next one. Watch the series, honestly, it's worth a watch, Henry Cavill, good job, Mr. Witcher. Alright, let's continue. 27 original.